Alright, so this is Brandon's 2011 E92 M3. You know, 4-liter, naturally aspirated V8. You know, this is 400 horsepower. So these do like 350 at the wheels, something like that. So not exactly a direct fair comparison with the flat plane V8. But these, you know, these two cars are a good comparison. And what I'm trying to answer here for myself is that, you know, do I want both of these in my garage at the same time? Plus, I just want to drive it because it's the E92. All right, let's do it.
Hear that?
Here, I can fix that in 2 seconds.
There's a stone in my wheel. Matt's getting it.
Yeah, roll back. I think I got it.
Backwards?
So we're gonna go out. We're on Moonshiners 28, which is a great road to do this test in. Go down the hill here. So your car isn't lower. Do you have spacers?
I did, but I took the front ones out because I had
Are they shaking?
Yeah. And I didn't want to have it for the trip.
What were they? 10 millimeter?
15 in the front.
Yeah.
They were perfect though.
Yeah.
I have for the rear. I have them 12 and a half. But
That's funny because mine, you know, on my E92, I had spacers and I didn't have any issues with shaking or anything.
Like 75 miles an hour. I'm
like
getting feedback. You know?
Yeah, that's the problem with them. They're just hit or miss. So otherwise, I mean, you have the primary cats or the secondary? The secondary cat's deleted, right?
No, the primary.
Okay. So
I have catless test pipes.
Okay.
I did test pipes instead of the primary cats.
Okay.
And that's
because these have 2 sets of cats on them, right? So
it has primary, secondary, and it has resonators too.
Right.
And then I have the OEM exhaust mod. So I have OEM exhaust mod paired with the primary cat delete or test pipes or however you want to say it. Which I think I love the sound. For the money, I love the sound for now.
All right, so we're comparing a little bit different in that mine has full header and exhaust and tune, but still, I mean, it really doesn't say the GT350 doesn't really sound any different.
Left.
Yeah. So let's just go out. Well, I don't know if we want to go all the way to the Dragon, but we'll see. We'll see if we find a turnaround.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I've been in an E92.
Especially as a passenger, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been one a passenger. Because I don't think I ever let anybody drive mine. So my love for this car is just, you know, they always talk about there's no power down low, right? There's no low end torque. See, I don't know. That's part of my preference is to wind it out. You know, that's part of the fun to me.
I mean, because I came from a turbo car, 335, and then I came to this, and the power at once is weird, but as soon as you're over 5,000 RPM, it's a whole different experience. You have to drive it way differently. You know, it's a different purpose. But that's where the GT350 is sort of similar in that respect to this. You're winding it and beating it in the RPM range. And I just have M Sport mode on, which is just exactly
M dynamic mode. Remember the cops?
Oh, tanks.
Shoot. What are they doing there? There's been cops there at the Fontana Dam forever.
Yeah.
Maybe there's been some kind of plot to blow it up or something. Which wouldn't make sense because at night they haven't been there, so.
Yeah.
You're right, man. This is way stiffer than the, this is a stock competition package. Now, what mode do you have it in?
It's M mode, which makes it EDC.
Yeah, the two place.
How's it feel as passenger? Is it kind of weird?
No. The car feels so much lighter. Just me sitting here as passenger. Yeah, it does feel really small. You know, because I've been in the GT350 for what, 2 days now. You know,
so
straight.
Accommodated. And it's not that I don't think that this car feels like a go-kart. But it feels much more like a go-kart after you're in the GT350.
Yeah. Now, when I had mine, I had my E92 and an S2000 at the same time, so my E92 felt huge,
that was
you know.
a big car. And for the time, it was a decently sized car in weight.
Right. And then these are, what do you have, what tires are on this? The Continental Sport Contact? Or?
Those are the rears, and I actually have Pilot Superstore in the front.
And then you'll just do Super Sports.
In the back. Yeah.
Well, actually, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to do the 4s, the new ones.
I will. Yeah, by the time I need it, which this trip has accelerated that.
All right.
But I had to get the Continentals because when I bought the car, it really needed tires, and I was driving back home.
Yeah.
I needed to get tires. There's no way.
Yeah, see, the interior, I love the interior in these. It's just basic, but I mean, even though it's not full leather like the new ones, I didn't even get full leather. It's just well done.
Yeah.
You know, the headliner's not Alcantara or anything crazy, but it's
clean.
It's perfect.
There's not a lot to it, but it works. As well, everything's where you want it.
So have you been riding around at all with EDC and middle mode? See, I never really used the sport, full sport.
The only time I use EDC is when it's on M mode.
Right.
So it's either M mode off, which I just turned it off.
Well, remember, M mode is just a memory setting, right? It doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
It's just remembering, you know. Now, the only way to get into MDM, right, is to do that.
Right. So the EDC is set for aggressive in M mode.
Right.
So it's either almost as sporty as possible in M mode or just normal. I don't have it on. So I don't really, the EDC 1 and 2, I don't really see a difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. Do you remember noticing, like,
I think so.
Like in the city, like I'm like.
Because remember like Jeremy Clarkson's video where he's showing, it's rattling his teeth, you know.
Do you like the sound from in here?
Yeah, the greatest part about this car versus the GT350, you get zero induction noise. It's all exhaust, so there's no motor. So the great part about these cars is that you get both. You get a nice, healthy combination of induction noise, the intake sucking the air in, and then the exhaust, blowing it out the back, where you don't get that.
But a lot of that disappears if you start putting like much more than what I've done. I feel like you're going to start losing that induction noise of the engine.
Yeah. Now, remember, I had the Dyna middle racing and then the Dyna rear section, and I felt like it was a good combo. And then I just had like a BMC drop-in filter and the whatever that goofy little Dyna waste of money tube that looks really great. So I had that. Yeah. I would most likely buy this car and supercharge it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're gonna find out in a minute. Maybe I don't need to supercharge it. I mean, you certainly haven't had any issues. You've been leaving me in my 600 horsepower GT350.
Yeah, well, I've also been flooring it all out. I mean, I don't know if you were doing that too. But...
Oh, I'm a freaking sissy, but but I mean, so you're a better driver, at least a ballsier driver than I am, and and I'm in a 100 horsepower more car, modified, with bigger, better tires and better brakes. And you're still leaving me.
I was thinking about this last night when you said DCT supercharger. That makes sense.
Right.
But then that car is for a different purpose than if you get the manual. I mean, you can still supercharge the manual, but you're not really, that purpose isn't the same.
Well, because the issue with this car is in a manual is the manual is really long throw, and the short throw shifters, the Rogue Engineering, and I forget the other company, UH whatever, or I forget the other company that makes a short shifter for this. And there may have been some that have come out since I owned it. They don't completely solve the issue of first to second gear, shortness of the gearing. You'd almost need a different diff.
Yeah, it is.
So the car was clearly engineered and built for the DCT. I mean, it was built for that gearing, that, and they just kind of threw a manual in as an option. But the car is much more engaging with the manual, and so
manual V8. I mean, it has great things about it. But if you want to kick everyone and leave everyone in the dust,
I don't. I just want the car to hold up, and so we're gonna find out in about 10 minutes when I'm driving this thing if.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah. I don't like being a passenger.
You You just don't like not having control, or what?
Well, because usually I'm driving with people who are a lot more aggressive than I am, so I get.
So you're like, ooh. I'm not that. I mean, I'm more ballsy by myself. When I have someone, I tend to.
I'm gonna mess up here.
Jeez, you're gonna move the mirrors too? Oh.
Mess you up.
Ouch. It's the shifter is not gonna feel good, by the way.
It's gonna be interesting to see. I haven't driven one of these. Like this was more horsepower than I could have ever imagined when I was. Does this seat go down?
Yeah, I think so. But it goes down all at once because it's the manual, right?
Oh yeah, this is bringing back memories, man.
I'm ready.
Yeah, we'll just do some third gear driving. Oh, it feels so much lighter.
It does. It's not that much lighter though, is it? 150 maybe?
Yeah.
If that.
Let's just say not lighter, smaller.
Yeah, it feels more nimble. Like not like a go-kart. I hate saying like a go-kart, but it's more. It feels more nimble.
It feels shorter.
Right. The hood's raked more. We're sitting, a little bit differently in the car. There we go.
The grip feels fantastic, though.
Yeah, it has good grip. We're on tires of it. Woohoo!
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming back to me. See, I still can't heel toe. I have to shift before.
Yeah, I do that a lot, to be honest with you.
It's fine here in the mountains, no one wants to really brake late anyway. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel underpowered at all to me.
No?
It certainly feels like less, at low RPMs than the GT350. But I don't think I'd...
Well, you're not going to need a supercharger here. Don't forget that. Yeah.
I love this car.
You can drive. I don't know what you're talking about. It's play it off like you don't do anything there.
Yeah, but we're driving 6/10. Lots of cars out now.
Yeah, on our way back.
I guess Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Doing good now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude, I love this car. I need a manual. I don't care.
You don't want to do...
I'll just get like the 550 kit. I need a manual. The manual's not bad. Wait, are we here already?
Stop sign.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn around. I don't know, the Dragon doesn't do anything for me.
No.
I like that road better.
No, that road's perfect. Fine with
See if we can't get back without anybody in front of us. Nice.
Sweet.
So, the question is, does this feel different enough
to have both?
Yeah, 100%. I can tell you right now, immediately, it feels so much different. It's so much better than the F80, dude. Man. The F80 out, because I had the F80 out here when I first picked it up.
Yeah, so what was bad about it? Because that's such a fast car.
Right, I mean, you've got to be at like 10/10 to even have any kind of enjoyment out of it. And it felt so much bigger.
It is bigger.
Yeah.
Heavier, bigger, wider.
And out here, the brakes, these stock brakes are freaking great.
Yeah.
You know,
I did start to get a little fade.
Yeah.
But that's after we were really...
Yeah. But the front end, the steering is so fantastic in this car. And that's part of the, you know, the disadvantage with the F80 is the steering's great for electric, but it's not this good. It's not this hydraulic.
That's why, yeah.
You know, the seats are a struggle though, and you're down here. I'm noticing a huge difference in, like, as much as I hate the snugness of the GT350, driving around these roads has made it so much more comfortable than this.
Well, you move more in these.
Yeah.
One, but I also don't really. You could adjust them a little bit, right?
Yeah, but the main thing is that the side bolstering is as annoying as that is for me.
Right.
I love this car.
So the verdict is you're leaning towards no supercharger, it sounds like, which is surprising to me because it seemed like that was a...
I was just... I was defaulting to that because, you know, my question was, does this, like my S2000 I just got up, it doesn't hold up, like, to my 500 horsepower cars, you know. It doesn't hold up to my M3, or my old M3, it doesn't hold up to my GT3, and so, like, if I was driving that thing around here stock, I'd be miserable, you know, because I'm so used to the power, you know.
Right.
Even though it's linear power, even though my cars don't have a lot of torque in comparison to a, you know, like the Camaro that's out here, or a Corvette, a Z06 Corvette. I just wondered if the power of this would hold up, and it holds up, dude. I don't feel underpowered at all. Yeah, but it certainly doesn't. Like, I remember this when I first got this. I mean, I couldn't handle it. Like, if I was a wide open throttle, I was scared to death. Like, I didn't think it. I thought it was like too much for me to deal with, because, you know, again, I was driving around Hondas previous to this, because it was S2000 or SI, S2000, RSX Type S, S2000. Those are my cars, and then I got the M3, and this, you know, me going to 6,000 RPMs was like an event.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, when I first got it, it took me forever to realize that, like, that's normal.
Right.
Like, shift it how it wants to be shifted.
Right. Let's just let these guys give them some space. Sit here and chat about M3s. Yeah, man. You know, in the nav, you know, because I'm not going to be able to find a single hump car. It's just not going to happen.
Hard.
Right. I don't know that it really matters that much.
Right. And this, it's weird. This one has the inserts of the gray, which is not my preference, but
I think I hear someone coming. I'm surprised at how easy it is for me to get in here and drive this thing.
It's natural.
I think I'm just older and more experienced, but I'm not having any issues shifting or finding gears, or, you know, getting in the right spot of the power band.
It's just the second gear.
It's not as difficult as I remembered it being, too. Gosh, this motor. So good. 100% manual. There will be no DCT in my life. No question. I'm immediately convinced.
Yeah, these roads are perfect right now.
Well, there goes my garage. I'm going to be buying one of these.
M3's going to be rolling in soon, huh?
I better not say that. I'm going to edit that out of the video, because now no one's going to leave me alone. Yeah, the brakes are.
They're
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
They'll get a little.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember when I took it to the track, mine got a little soft. So let's try. Let's go EDC
off.
Yeah. And then.
It's too floaty here.
Yeah. So let's go EDC 1. See, I don't like settings. I don't like options.
Well, I just have the button on or button off.
Right.
You know? I sort of avoid the whole. I mean, I custom and I checked it once.
How come your MDM's not coming on? We might want to look at the manual because I think there's a light right underneath your service engine that says MDM mode. So I don't think we're in M dynamic mode.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I've had this
I think you've been missing it.
No.
I'm serious.
It changes everything when I press that button.
Well, it changes your, changes the throttle, because the power button doesn't make any more power.
I know, but...
Yeah, because I don't think this car has any, we're going to sound like freaking idiots here. I don't think the suspension has any, shoot, we're driving behind these guys, we can. Yeah, so again, M dynamic mode will just allow you to slide, step out the car.
Yeah.
I can't see it behind there. Oh man, these are the greatest roads, and I think.
I love them.
This little stretch here, like the only potholes we found, and they're not even really potholes, they're just little surface cracks. Yeah, the car feels, to me, and then when I remember, it feels smaller, it feels lighter. I feel much more in control. Probably partly is also we've been driving for 10, 15 hours over the last couple of days in the mountains. I'm older, more experienced. I've had more cars. Yeah, I've had more experience. I've been to the track many times since then.
Perspective is way different.
Yeah. See, that's where the big difference. Like if I'm in third gear and I'm rolling on the throttle, the GT350 is. That's where you can feel that extra 100 or so horsepower. Yeah, dude, I love this thing. I love it, love it, love it. I need one. Yeah, it's, it's like a frickin' wet noodle, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
And, it's clear the Germans, they do that for a reason. They like that smooth feel, at least the BMW.
It feels sort of notchy to me. That's how I explain it, no?
No, it's rubbery.
Yeah. Like
notchy is usually like the when we talk about notch from first to second gear, it's sometimes, when it's cold, the car, you kind of have a hard time, especially if you're on it, getting it into second gear. I'm really interested to get into the GT350. It's a heck of your car is a lot quieter than mine. Wait till you get in mine.
The Germans, they deaden the sound like the cabin is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Put a good old ESS 550, VT2 550 kit on this thing. Oh, the steering is so good. Awesome, awesome. You're expecting me to not be able to shift, and because I'm always talking about how I can't do it.
No, you always talk about how you're such a bad, you can't heel toe and yada yada, but
yeah, I can't. I've been trying so hard on my freaking GT350, I can't do it.
You whipped it harder in my car than I thought you would.
Let's go do the 350. All right, so we're back in the GT350. I didn't adjust the M3 seat, but I think I could lower the seat a little.
You could have, yeah. It was up fairly high.
Yeah, because that's one of the big problems with this car, with me, is that I feel like I have a hard time my vision because it sits so high in this thing.
See anything.
Close, yeah. Yeah, so first thing you notice in this car, the frickin' monster hood, right?
Yeah.
The hood is gigantic.
And it's not that the M3 hood is that small.
Right.
I think it's like a fairly long hood if you think about it. Like,
yeah. I mean, you'll notice it when you lift it up. The thing feels big, you know. But first thing you notice, hips, right? My hips are locked in.
And I'm not a big guy.
Right.
I mean, mine are in here.
And so as much as I've hated these seats, all right, clutch is way heavier. And then you get a much more mechanical feel from the shifter.
The shifter's way nicer in here.
Yeah.
It's way nicer.
But the clutch engagement's shorter too.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's not too short though.
But we have also because the clutch is pretty junk from the factory, the spring they put on it. So me and Chris has the same thing where we put the aftermarket clutch spring in, where it's a linear spring instead of this weird dual spring. Weird engagement. But the biggest difference, I think, is the steering. So the steering feels uber light in this car.
Are you in sport mode or what's the comparable mode?
Yeah, so I'm in sport. So the brakes, no comparison. The brakes in this thing destroy, the M3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Should probably let the car warm up, huh?
Whoops.
But yeah, the transmission, no question. But it's different enough that, again, what we're really talking about here is, the selfish part of this review here is that I want both, right? And is having both ridiculous. The balance of this car is definitely better. Part of it probably has to do with the giant front end, the giant 295s in the front.
Yeah, it has a lot of
Wait till you hear this thing on the bridge. So the front end grip is better in this car, but that's, I think, purely due to tires. But the brakes. Yeah. But you're also feeling the weight transfer, that massive transfer of weight. Yeah. All that inertia coming through your brain. But that's one of the best parts of this car is the balance, the brakes, the fact that they took an S550 Mustang, they left all the heavy steel parts on the thing, but then they put all the right parts on it. They fixed they modified all the things that you'd want modified. Now, granted, I'd rather have a bespoke, all aluminum chassis, and all aluminum suspension.
But then the price starts to come out of.
I'd probably pay it, but then again, I wouldn't pay for an R. I wouldn't pay the premium. So. And my issue with the R is it's the same freaking car with some bolt-ons. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that salty, and that I want an R. I'd much rather have an R.
It's just rare and has a couple special items.
Right. But I'm not going to pay. I don't think it's worth $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 more than this car.
If it was faster, different engine.
Yeah. Now
they're talking.
Right. But then it wouldn't be $6,000, $7,000 more from stock. So these feel very different. Like it's almost not even worth explaining. They just feel completely different.
The power is kind of the same, no? Like
yeah,
the concept of you have to really be revving it out to enjoy enjoy it.
Yes.
To get the power
Now,
to enjoy it.
what I'm noticing, like if I were to, if I were to hammer the M3 in second gear, there's nobody home for a little while. This does have more,
right.
but and that's the extra 100, right? That's the extra 100 horsepower.
Yeah. This thing grips like crazy. The suspension is great.
This does feel a whole lot tighter than the M3 though. That was what shocked me so much in this car. Even though this is a pretty stiff road, I'm in a stiff suspension setting.
Yeah.
Probably has a lot to do with the Magna Ride improvements in suspension sense. Some of it probably a little bit the weight of the car, but this car is so tight. Like I expected that's what I was nervous about with this car when I bought it, because I never even test drove it. Would it feel like the previous generation Mustangs where
sloppy.
Yeah, there is zero slop. And even to this day, we've got how many miles? I've got almost 5,000 miles on it. There's not a rattle, there's not a squeak. It's perfect. And having this trip to the mountains made me love this car even more.
Yeah.
When I first got here and I first, was getting acclimated to the car, because I really hadn't driven it anywhere, I was like, I don't know, man. I was even considering maybe I should get a PDK in the GT3. This car's great too. They're both great, but they're so different. I don't know what I would.
They're similar, but they're very, very different.
Yeah, I think the reason why I don't like to make car reviews and stuff. I'm just not any good at it. But I just feel like this makes sense to compare these two cars. We had them both here.
We're in the mountains, man.
Well, that and you would. Let's say you didn't have either one of them and you're considering, that sort of high revving, naturally aspirated, if that's your bag, if you like linear horsepower, it'll be these would be the two. Oh, cops around here somewhere. Wow. It's the first K-Band I've gotten all weekend. Thanks to, if they are around here, thanks to the GMC Acadia for
slowing us down,
keeping us out of trouble. This does make a lot more noise too, and really this car is quieter than it is stock with this exhaust and headers, believe it or not. The M3, your M3, if you're not on it,
it's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Maybe there's a cop leading us out.
Pace car?
Yeah. Either that or remember these are older Mustangs. They don't go around corners too well.
No, they don't.
I've seen the Z going up and down here he must just be out. He's in the mountains. Yeah. So why do you need to go to another road when you can just do this one, I guess? I don't know. Dare I say, this is a more comfortable car.
Well, mine's in. What about even if mine's not in that sport mode?
It's still more comfortable.
Why?
Now the seats are less comfortable. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, it feels more solid to me. The car does.
Okay.
Maybe that's the weight.
Yeah.
I think the interior is a much better place to be in the M3.
Right.
I think the engineering behind it is much better. But this, again, I'm not turned off by this. There's nothing in here that's great, but there's nothing in here that's not. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it does the job. You can do everything you need to do.
Where I think things like the carbon or the leather carbon trim in the M3 is great. It's just great. It's great design. And, the way the dash connects, like things like this plastic center console is a little weak. Yeah. But again, there's nothing in here that turns me off. Unlike you know, like a Camaro or a Corvette has those big square gauges. I don't like these circular gauges. I think they could just make this one big pod.
Right.
But again, we're nitpicking little things now. The the big square plastic gauges on like a you know, a Z06 Corvette just turns me off.
Yeah. It's just very GM. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
It's a different taste. But these are very muscle car-y. Like, you
Yeah.
can say that. Like, when I got at Chris's, I was like.
Well, that's why you could, if I had a choice, I could take that muscle car and throw it in the garbage. Just get rid of that and just make it a sports car, you know. And it's there, you know. It's just there's a few little muscle car leftover things that don't really even need to exist. You know, the thing that bothers me the most in this car is the freaking goofy turn signal.
Oh, the weird clicking noise?
No, the slow, sequential.
Yeah, it's
they're all synced. Yeah, I mean that's nostalgic, but I don't want nostalgia. I want better. Make it better. Get rid of, you know, give me that heritage crap. You can take heritage and throw it in the dumpster. Just make it a good car.
Like, you know, it's
the center
M3,
console.
it's just not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just so boring. It just
even this vinyl, or even if I don't know if that's leather or vinyl or what.
It seems like an afterthought. They're like, it'll fit, it'll work, and it does.
Yeah.
But
after getting this car with an Alcantara steering wheel, I'm digging Alcantara.
Oh yeah.
And my S2000 is an Alcantara aftermarket wheel.
Yeah. But the M3s is still, for not being Alcantara, that's as good as it gets, right?
Well, I wish all steering wheels were that fat, you know.
Yeah.
That's what my S2000 has an M3-like steering wheel on it, which is great. The only problem is it's so fat I can't get my hands. I can't. Yeah, I have to walk it. I have to walk the wheel because I can't.
So is it just in regular sport then?
Yep. There's only two modes in this: sport and not sport. Well, there's the track mode and all that, but I don't think that do anything.
Right. You have your seat really straight.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm sitting up like 90 degrees.
I like straight.
Pedals are close.
Well, remember this. Yeah, so the gas pedal's aftermarket.
Right.
So I did a pedal spacer and the pedal sticks out.
Oh yeah, the steering, it's so weird, like
It's so much lighter.
it is, but it handles it like better. Ooh, coming in a little bad turn there. Yeah, it just keeps going. The limit is very high. Oh, the brakes are amazing.
Yeah, I still contend that this has better pedal feel, better initial bite than even my carbon ceramics on my GT350, my GT3.
The weight is weight, right? But the suspension is so good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it. Yeah, it's so much lighter. It's crazy how it definitely feels, I mean, it definitely feels bigger. It feels bigger than my car, but I'm doing as much as I want to do that I can do in my car.
Yeah.
So like in my mind, it seems like it's like, Hellcat, there's no way, but it does it all. It does it all great. It does it better. You know, it's newer and it's refined.
horsepower, right? More torque.
Yeah.
Crap ton more torque.
The acceleration, even now it's like shoot.
Yeah.
You know, that is. I had to keep my foot lifted a little bit. You know.
The M3 does a little. You feel a little push in the seat. This throws you in the seat.
But part of the M3, I think, is when you have the throttle so sensitive, it sort of gives you the impression that it has more power than it does just because it's so sensitive. Yeah. Try not to fly off this cliff here. Whee! Yeah,
they feel at home. Neither of them feels quite as good as the GT3 does at say 6 or 7,000 RPM.
Okay.
But it certainly doesn't feel like you're abusing the car.
No,
like
it's happy.
Both of them are fine with that.
Yeah, like the suspension really amazes me. I know I keep saying that, but like I do see them as different cars. Even if you don't supercharge the M3.
Yeah. But I definitely want a manual. Especially for when I'm not here. You know, like I'm just driving around the boring Florida roads.
Right.
Well, the M3 is easier to drive smoother than this.
Now that I know the brakes are so good, I kind of want to, you know, use more acceleration and just brake late. Brake later.
Did you think we'd be driving this aggressively?
Not quite. Like
when we first came in the GT3s and like we got on the roads and flat out. I didn't think that we'd be doing that.
I've never pushed my car to the limit for that long, ever. I've never had a chance to. I've never been to a track. So, you know, on the regular roads, it's like, well, what the heck are you gonna do? Just floor it at every traffic light? So.
You know, and we'll get a bad rap for making this video on public roads. I mean, we're driving the car. We're
being respectful. We're not tailgating. We're not crossing the double yellow. I mean.
But I mean, this is what these. It's not that the police encourage it, but they kind of let it go as long as you never cross double yellow.
Yeah.
You know, follow the rules. If you're going 55 and a 40, I mean, the speed limits here. I mean, for that to be 30 miles an hour in Florida, this would be a 15-mile-an-hour turn.
Right. You know? Anywhere.
Yeah.
It is crazy how high the speed limits are. Like.
So it's you do at your own risk.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't really expect people to give us flack. I mean, you come to tail the dragon to drive the roads and use your car. Oh. So how is it as passenger? Does it feel...
Yeah, it sucks. I hate it.
No, but besides that, does it feel faster or scarier? Or?
No, it feels pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good point. I think this car feels... It feels just equally as fast passenger and driver, but the M3 feels faster passenger to me.
Because it's more... Because it's a rougher ride, the weight, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
You know, it's a smaller... I hate to say go-kart for the 30th time.
Well, yeah, the smaller car. I feel like I feel a little safer here because...
It's just bigger.
But the violence feels the same.
Right. Yeah, I feel you.
But the M3, the violence feels different from driver to passenger.
Right. Yeah. There's more...
I might be making that up.
No, I
I'm with you.
Oh, yeah, this is what my driver's seat was like. That seat's broken in.
Yeah, you sitting in enough, it'll...
Oh, it hurts my hips. But it's fantastic to have.
It holds you in so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, even the back, too.
Yeah, this... I'm glad to have these seats here in the mountains. I hate having them on a, you know, driving on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, this is...
So, similar ideas, similar person these cars are going to appeal to. One is obviously newer. The M3 I think still holds up, certainly holds up. You know, the tech in this is better, with the Ford Sync 3 is better. But I think they feel different enough that I still want both. But which would I choose if I could only have one? I have to think about that. I might have to come back.
Well, is that even a question? I mean, if we're talking future far enough out, is that really a dilemma?
Well, I'm talking about the people who don't have the means that I have.
Oh, I hear you.
You're young. Like, you don't have. You're a bunch of. What are you? 25?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're not there yet.
No.
Right. So you have a choice. And I asked you this on the podcast, and you said you'd choose the M3.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, my M3 I bought for $35,900. I mean, so this car's twice as much as that. The one that I got.
Right.
You know, 30,000 miles, whatever. So, that's
I'll have to think about that. I have to decompress after I'm not driving past it.
Come on.
What you're about to do to me on this bridge.
A little bit. Straight on the bridge, it's not that bad. Guys with it.
Looks like they plan on being here at night too.
I guess so. Oh, awesome!
Nothing better in this world than that.
That, yeah. Now I know why you don't drink coffee. You just do that a little bit. It wakes you up real quick.
Cars, I want to be able to do that and have it put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
The S2000 is going to do it. My GT3 certainly does it. This does it.
Like you wouldn't want to drive and rip it up all the time?
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Like would you make time to go out and drive somewhere? Or would you only just enjoy it when you're driving somewhere specific?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The downshifts are nice. The sound is, yeah. The shifters.
A little trickier in the M3.
Yeah, it's longer. You know, it's a longer shift. So it makes it more of a pain. Courtesy rev for the entrance.
For the cops that are staying in this.
Oh, right there for you. You're welcome.
Like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
So we just got back from driving the cars, and the thought occurred to me, you know, if I had both keys sitting on the table over here, and we were gonna go to dinner and go for like an hour drive, which one would I rather grab the key to? And I don't think this has to do with the newness of me getting back in an M3. I think I'd pick the M3. The GT350, I think there's absolutely no question is a better car. It's faster, it's more horsepower, brakes are better, transmission's better, the steering isn't better. The M3 steering is better.
Feels better.
The lateral grip, front end grip, rear end grip. I already said braking. I think the GT350 feels tighter, but I still pick the key to the M3. tech is better. I think that's just purely newness.
Right.
The M3's interior is clearly a better engineered cockpit, a better place to sit than the GT350, but the seats are better than the GT350. If you're going to a track day, M3 is going to get destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the GT350 is just going to lap all day. The brakes aren't going to fade. The the transmission is fantastic. Seats are going to hold you in place. But I think I'd grab the key to the M3. But the conclusion to this whole thing is that I want both. That's what I was wondering. Do I really need both? Is the GT350 just going to take a spot in my garage and then I'll just get rid of it and then get the E92, which I want to have forever? The other conclusion I came to is I'm definitely going to get a manual.
Do you think you're going to supercharge it? Just do a smaller?
Yeah.
ESS 550?
Yeah, I think I would probably still supercharge it. But here's the key is I don't need to do it right away.
Right.
I thought that I would need to, I keep saying need, I thought I would need to say more, say want. You guys know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about needs and wants. We're talking about the fifth car, right? But I think that I would need to do, I don't need to do a supercharger like I thought I did, right? The car.
It doesn't feel underpowered right away is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It feels less powerful than the GT3.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, you can, right.
Like the S2000 less powerful.
Right.
Where it needs it.
Right. I get an S2000 and I mean, the freaking thing is like, nothing's happening. I'm just sitting there. It feels so slow. And it's just, it's the time and place I am in my life and how much time I've spent in cars, and I've been on tracks and I've been to driving schools and I've been to the mountains half or a dozen times since owning my first M3 or owning my S2000, because I owned them both at the same time. And at the time the M3 was like a freaking monster, but the S2000 still held up. But now everything is taking two steps forward with a with a 500 horsepower GT3 with PDK, and then the GT350 obviously being modified is probably somewhere around 570 horsepower at the crank, versus the M3. I think it's fairly rated. I mean, it's 414 horsepower, right? But 295 foot-pounds of torque. And so when you take the drivetrain loss into comparison, you're going to be 350 in the M3 versus 500 in the GT350, 150 horsepower, the extra 150 pounds. We could feel that, like with the throttle response and just the launch you in the seat, the GT350. Yeah. But still, the M3, I think I could enjoy it from now until forever without supercharging. I don't think I would even need to do that. It does feel different enough of a car. Actually, I don't even say enough. It's a completely different car.
It's weird because it's the same concept, but it's way different.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say, but I think everyone watching this gets that though. High revving, the sound,
right.
It's the same.
Even if you've never driven one, just on paper, or watching videos of exhaust videos, or watching people drive it, the E92 has become a cult hero. Even though at the time it was kind of a like the Top Gear didn't like it, and it wasn't like a highly coveted car. It was just a car, and it was good. And that's the really weird thing. It's like the F80 M3 is this highly coveted car, but with the exception of guys like us who don't like it. The guys who it's supposed to appeal to hate it, or maybe not even hate it, but just don't. You don't like. I've owned it. I will never buy another one. It won't. I mean, I think I can say that I would never buy another F80 M3.
Right.
I just don't think even if I was collecting all M3s, I don't even think I would want one. Money no object, have millions of dollars in the bank. I don't think I would have one in the garage.
Right.
I guess the only way would be is if you had an E30, E3060, 4060, E92, you needed to complete the set.
Complete the set, yeah.
And it would just sit there in the garage, right? I would never touch the thing.
Yeah.
It would just be there. You just let it rot. It's probably what would happen. I don't know. But yeah, I love that thing, man. I think if I had both keys, if they were both mine, and I was going to go out for a drive right now, I'd pick the E92 key.
I will tell you liked it right off the bat way more than I thought you would. I mean, I knew you always loved it, but
Yeah, I thought I would be, again, I thought
you'd be more skeptical at first, but you pretty much...
Well, I could tell the turn in, you know, that first turn coming right on here in 28, I could tell immediately. The steering, the linear power, the manual transmission wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. It was probably me being more bad than the actual transmission being bad, right? I mean, the shift linkage is garbage, and the rubbery feel is just not good in comparison to everything else I'm used to. But it's not, you know, it's not
so bad it prevents you from enjoying the car.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And now that I'm a better driver than 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you know, it's fine. I mean, I could work with it. So I think conclusion is buy both. Sorry to sound like such a arrogant prick, but if you can do it, you know, I can't. I probably could do it. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to get one. And if it doesn't preclude me from like, I don't need to get rid of the GT350 to get that. Like, and and that's another good question is why don't I just get rid of the GT350 if I prefer the M3? I don't think I could live without it. I don't think I want to do that. I think it's a different enough and better enough car from a performance and
that means you like the GT350 a lot then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I like it even more after this weekend, spending a lot of time in it. When we first got on the mountains, I took the first few turns and I'm having a hard time seeing onto the right side of the car because I'm sitting so high. And you know, I just hadn't gotten the feel of the car yet. I was like, I'm gonna hate this thing. I'm gonna trade this thing in. I'm gonna get a PDK in the GT3 because I can't handle this. Because I've never really, I had the M3 up in the mountains, but I hadn't been aggressive in the mountains with that. I was by myself. And so it just took me a few minutes to get my bearings straight with the manual and, you know, and the turns and, you know, when to get in and out of first, second, third gear. Because that's what we do. We spend the whole time in third gear, second, third.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope this turns out to be, hope this was a good video. I hope this is helpful to you. I mean, these are two sort of you know, they'll be, I think these cars will hold up to the test of time. I think
people will talk about them in the future like they were very special, for sure.
And I think people will still want to own them, you know, like that S2000 is 15, 16, you know, 17 years old in some cases, 18 years old from the original variant, and people still want to drive it. You know, they still want to own it. I mean, me included. I think that these cars hold up. And there really isn't anything now that I want. The GT350 is the only modern car that I want to own. It's a sports car with analog roots, right?
Yep.
The E92 M3 is a sports car with analog roots. The F80 is a sports car with digital roots.
Well, yeah, modern technology makes it quick as hell, but that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome though.
It almost, it almost loses the sports car tag. It's more sort of sporty sedan or sporty, you know, coupe. It loses the sports car feel, and that's what's so great about the GT350 versus, you know, an S550 Mustang is that it turns all the great parts of that car and turns it into a sports car. Putting proper brakes, proper suspension, proper manual transmission, proper motor, proper high revving, and turns it into great. And so that's where, you know, if you were keeping score, the GT350 scores 150 and the E92 M3 scores a 60. And maybe this is the M3 fanboy in me.
But that's not the point. I mean, the E92 is not the fastest car ever, no matter what you do to it.
Well, no car I've ever had my heart set on has ever been the fastest.
I mean, that's not the point, normally.
I'm already too scared of these, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
It's still a lot of car.
Yeah. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me drive your car, man.
It was fun. Thanks for letting me drive yours.
Yeah, so I'll be having, hopefully my next E92 video will be me picking mine up. So, we'll see what I end up doing. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more overly critical, overly analytical, crazy crap that I tend to do. Thanks for watching. So what happened? happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.